Hello and hello, this is Jamie White. Welcome to another Supplier Diversity and Small Business Economic Impact Report. As always, please like, subscribe, share the video, and comment on the video or podcast, whichever one you're listening to, either SoundCloud or YouTube. First up, Trump reaches deal with Canada, Mexico to immediately lift metal metals tariffs, excuse me. So, for those who have been keeping up with the weekly report or just kind of what's going on with the U.S. Mexico Canada trade deal, uh, basically, oh geez, what a year and a half ago, uh, President Trump really enacted the whole America First theme in the trade policies, and one of which was to basically enact tariffs on everyone, including our allies and trade partners that we actually had great relationships with, such as Canada. So after about a year and a half of these tariffs being in place, it is now announced that within the next 48 hours ish, uh, that these tariffs will be taken off. Now, just want to say some things. I very rarely give my opinion, but I think here is a really good time to do so. I have not been against the tariffs on China. I do think that that brought China to the trade to the table to negotiate, which is something that we absolutely needed. And it's one of those conversations. People like to push other issues that we really need to get a handle on, such as immigration, our environment, justice system, infrastructure. There's a lot of things that we really need to just kind of stop. Medicaid, Medicare is another one that we just really need to stop and figure out. Healthcare is another one as well. But that we just really need to just stop and figure out how are we going to do this right now, because the more we delay, it just keeps getting worse and worse. One of those things also is our trade policy with China. So enacting tariffs was a really good way to say, hey, you know what? Let's get this situation under control right now. It's something we needed, and you know could have been other ways, but I do think that this is one of the ways that there was a way to get them here, and from what we've seen, it's heading in the right direction. Now we'll see what happens if it closes. Now, with that being said, on that whole long explanation on the China piece, I I have also been not in favor of posting tariffs on the likes of Canada and Mexico. In my opinion, we've taken 2 to 3 steps back, and now this news is really just putting us back at zero, if that makes sense. I I, I do think that we do need a that we did need a new NAFTA deal. I think that the negotiations haven't been handled the best from the American side. We did get a lot of positive from this trade deal. Don't get me wrong, like there are a lot to like in the trade deal. I've been keeping up with this for long enough to know that a lot of the things that we're going to end up getting was offered to us day one, and yet for some reason we still enacted tariffs. We went through about 9 to 12 months of additional negotiations, and it didn't get us anything else. So so just the price that we paid for these NAFTA negotiations, in my opinion, just haven't been worth it. And it's nice to see that we're now getting back to zero, and hopefully this is just another step in the right direction for the new NAFTA deal. So again, I usually don't give my opinion, but that one I've just felt really strongly on. It's just just on an ending note, like come on, like we were day one, we got everything we really wanted and we really needed, and well maybe not like within 30 to 45 days, we got like everything we wanted and needed, and we still went a roundabout way to whatever. So next up, world economy rebound thrown into doubt by escalating trade war. I was just talking about the China U.S. trade policy negotiations, whatnot. Basically, what this whole article is simply saying by Bloomberg is that now that the U.S. has enacted new tariffs and China has done the same, this could account for about 1% drop in the global economic scale, which is huge just off of tariffs. Um, because of this, people are now more pessimistic about the global economy, saying with Morgan Stanley saying that this is going to lead to us heading into a recession by 2020. we've been there's been a lot of recession talk over the last couple of years, and yet we still haven't hit it. Now, I will admit those recession talks have been looking at late 2019, early 2020. So we have not hit those dates yet. So let's be clear on that. However, there has been talk that there would be lead up right about now, and so far it hasn't happened. So we'll see what happens, and if this China U.S. trade issue does take apart. It did hit the markets very hard, and we're still struggling from that, despite us, taking off the tariffs from Canada and Mexico. So we'll see how this goes, and if this is the one that really impacts us. But so far our economy has remained strong despite ticks like this. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, this obviously isn't good news moving forward for the global economy. Next up, top 10 best and worst U.S. states for economy. This is by Fox Business. Um, Again, I don't usually. This is actually a highly heavily opinionated podcast, but yeah. So if basically it gives the list of again top 10 best economies, best states in terms of economies in America, and the bottom 10 states for the economy. I'm not going to read off the list, but if you are on the podcast and you're just listening in, what I will say is, and I feel bad saying this, but it's just so true. Uh, for the top 10 best states for the economy, I mean, hey, look, if you're a Democrat, you're going to look at this list and you're going to love life. If you're a Republican, you're going to look at this list and you're going to say fake news, because it's man, if you're a Republican, it's rough. So I think top of the 10 best states, 7 out of the 10 are voted, Democratic in the presidential election. The three that didn't were Utah. I'm no, I'm sorry, four. I'm sorry, six of the top 10. So the four that were Republican in the top 10 best states for economy were Utah, Idaho, Florida, and Arizona. Um, of the top five, four of the top five were Democrats, and they're the ones that if you're they're the really really liberal ones too. So you got Colorado, Washington, California, and Oregon are in the top five. So yeah, if you're you see so many things on the news where like ultra conservatives are just really hammering California and Washington, like, oh, Washington has a $15 minimum wage now. It's just terrible, and all this stuff. And just looking at this, it's man, again, if I'm not on either side, but if you're ultra conservative, this is not a good list. The top worst states for the economy for 2019. Again, hey, just not a good list if you're ultra conservative. But you know, Illinois is on there at 41. Then moving down the list, it's 42 is Wyoming, then Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Alaska, New Mexico, Mississippi, Louisiana, and then West Virginia. West Virginia is a little bit of a surprise. You know what? Let me not get too political, but let's just, what? Hey, this is podcast. This is just kind of just me looking at it. West Virginia, as we know, it's really big with coal mining. One of the things President Trump promised to bring back was coal. That's tough. But yeah, as you can see, you can go ahead and take a look at the list. Again, this is by Fox Business, so take from that what you will. And yeah, moving on. This is didn't mean for this to go so long, but it's kind of opinionated this one. NASA says it's awarding over 100 million to small businesses for technology development. Now, again, this is I will praise President Trump when he deserves it, and for this one he really does. He's been really big with bringing back the space program and really funding that program and doing more with it. And this is one of the results of it. Again, NASA is looking for new technologies to explore space. I think for this one, it's really focused on more so getting back to the moon and what we can do from that. So this is a huge opportunity for those small businesses that are in that related industry, which is really great for them. NASA said it received 142 proposals from 129 small businesses in the U.S. These proposals are aimed at helping NASA with technologies that could send humans to the moon in the next 5 years. So again, this is really good. We're probably going to see some really exciting new things, new technology happen. Regardless of what happens in the 2020 elections, I really do hope that this continues because I think that there's a lot that we can be doing and learning uh, outside of our planet that I do think could help us with a lot of advancements in the near future. All right, last up, small business lending soars at banks. Technology is a big reason why. Again, this is one of those. If you've been following the podcast and suppliertnews.com, you know that it's been especially last year it was really big for small business lending through banks, whether that be small, large, alternative financing, etc. The really big piece here is technology. So people are now allowed to fill out forms online, and because of that, they're able to get their business credit and things of that nature checked within seconds, or maybe not within seconds, but then within a day or two, and then be approved for lending practices. So because the process is simpler and faster, people are starting to get more money. I'm dealing with a couple of uh of portals, and I can tell you right now, I'm constantly being bombarded with, hey, you need 5,000 here, and these are from like legit sources, 5,000, 20,000. Hey, we're looking at your account, and it seems as if you qualify for this piece. So this isn't like in the mail type of things. These are you know accounting services, software that I use and whatnot. So it's a lot more places that you can get funding from, and this is a big reason why, which is a great time for a small business. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. It's a little bit over 10 minutes. I apologize for that, but again, the first couple minutes were opinion heavy. But as always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come in and listen to what I have to say. As always, please like, subscribe, share the video, and comment if you have anything to say. Thank you so much for another exciting week, and you have a great